webinar for today is hosted by Crisp Excel Training and Consulting Limited. As you've seen, they've been driving most of these webinars every other twice a month. That is every other second Saturday of the month. And Crisp Excel Training and Consulting is a company that deals with training on advanced Excel, HR analytics, project management, Power Office 365 Power Platform, and they also consult on data management and analytics. To get to understand more about Crisp Excel, you can look at their social media pages, the YouTube, LinkedIn, and you get to understand more. You can also check out their website and you'll see more of what they do. Crisp Excel has partnered with other companies like NITA, Microsoft, and Institute of HRM, just to make sure that the courses that they give are certified and verified. The trainers are also licensed by the Institute of Human Resource Management and NITA as licensed trainers, and Microsoft as well to provide these trainings. So you can be sure that when you deal with this company, you're dealing with licensed individuals and people who know their game in the industry. For today, as you've seen, our presenter is Mr. Muigai Mwaura. His areas of expertise, and he'll tell us more about these as we go, are cloud and mobile technologies, Office 365 optimization, data analytics, and data visualization. By profession, he's a software engineer, and we'll hand over the platform to him. He'll tell us more about himself, more about the topic today, so that we get to understand more about artificial intelligence and how we can use that in our day-to-day to leverage the work that we do. So, Mr. Muigai, karibu sana. You can take over.
Thank you, Joanne, for the introduction. As you've heard, my name is Muigai Mwaura. I am a software engineer. I'm currently working at Google. Before that, I was at Microsoft for 2 years. And prior to that, I was at a company called Olivine Technology, where I was doing a lot of software development, and quite a bit of that involved the use of Excel for the reports that we were doing for our clients. So if you're not familiar with ChatGPT, ChatGPT is an artificial intelligence platform. And as the name suggests, you interact with it by engaging in chats, where you can ask it questions and it will remember the context of your discussion as we proceed to ask it to assist you with whatever task at hand. So what I will be doing today is I will be showing you how you can leverage this technology in your Excel work in terms of analytics, making usage of formulas and so on. So this is the workbook we will be using. And I believe Crispo has shared this with you. So you can feel free to open it and follow along as I take you through this presentation. So what I've done here is I have gotten some sample data. This is a typical Excel export you might do if you are selling things, say online. So you have an order number, a product name, the payment type for the purchase, the price of the item, the order date, the customer who ordered it, and the rating that they gave. So what I will be doing is I will be switching between this window with Excel and an implementation of ChatGPT that we can find at bing.com. I'll put the address here. in the chat. And when you open Bing, you can click on the chat interface and you could see something like, let me share my screen. So you give it your request and it will come up with it will even come up with some suggestions, even though I have some of my own, which I will show you. But this is an interesting response, telling you about order frequency, suggesting a pivot table, customer analysis, in terms of finding top customers by the price and so on. But let's skip that and let me proceed to ask you the questions that I have prepared beforehand. So the first thing I want to do is a very common, perhaps the most common, the most common function, which is I would like to sum up the total of these prices. That's probably the most basic Excel function. So let me stick back to ChatGPT and ask it for help with that. So how would I sum prices in the table? Okay, so as you can see, it is this is quite a sophisticated answer. The first one is you could select the cells that have the data you have and type the formula sum. And it even knows about Excel tables, which I want to demonstrate today, in which event you could just do equals the sum of, if the table was called orders, sum of orders price. And of course, as you're adding rows to the table, that sum would change. You would not need to adjust the range manually. But let's stick with what I have, which is a range. And I'm going to type in this formula in Excel. So sum of the price. For our case, it is the sum. It actually needs a column that we were using, which is D, and goes up to D16 since I didn't tell it how many rows we have. As you can see, it gives us the correct sum for the task that I asked it to assist with. By the way, if you have any questions, feel free to stop me. Otherwise, if not, I can move to the next example, which will be to ask ChatGPT to assist me find the average price in this table. So let me ask it that question. Make sure I'm saying the right. Yes. So how do I find the average price? Price in the order. And so it will give us a similar answer to the one before, which is we are looking for an average. So it's just going to work pretty much the same way as some. Let me type that in Excel. And that is your average price. So two of the basic formulas that you probably use every time you are doing some analysis in Excel. So let's, I've started with the simplest ones and we'll get progressively more complex. So let me jump right into the next ones. And in this case, I would like to find the minimum and the maximum prices of those products. So let me ask ChatGPT for that. So help me find the minimum. You don't even have to say minimum. You would just say the highest and lowest price item. If you're an Excel novice, you might not know that there's a max function, and you can just use ordinary human language. You just talk to a person, and it will be able to infer what we mean. And as you can see, it's come up with the right formula for both, which are min and max. So let me type that into Excel once this is done with the answer. And as usual, it will show you both ways. One way is how to work with the range and the other one with the table. So let me switch back to Excel. And we choose the price. And there we go. Does someone have a question? If not,
sorry, I had a question.
Yeah,
is there a way to limit the answers from the prompt to, if you just want the formula, you don't want the explanation, is there a way to limit all the stories that is giving you if you don't want those stories?
Yes. So I can try that in the next prompt.
Okay.
Yeah, so let me do that. Let me switch back to ChatGPT. And all right. This time, what I want it to do is tell me how many transactions were PayPal. I want a count of how many transactions were paid for using PayPal. I'll tell it to just give me the formula without any other comment. So give me just the formula. An explanation. Okay, so it will actually just give you what you asked for, and let me type this in Excel. This is PayPal transactions. And it's 5, actually, interestingly enough. Though the range is off, since I didn't tell it the range. we modify that. And so there you have it for that particular example. You can stop me if you have any questions. If not, I'll move to the next example. And my next example will be to request for this sheet. What I would want to do is, if the shipping was 0, I want to have some message saying free, and if it's not 0, I want it to say paid. So let me tell it how I would like this done. In the formula, column was 3 and 3 otherwise. Now, one thing to note is, as I explained, it is a chart, and this chart will get context from your previous request. So in the last time I asked it for no explanation, so it continues not giving an explanation, but I think I would like one. So let me ask it. Include an explanation. And it will give me this story. In the meantime, I can copy the formula and paste that in Excel. So this would be the column, and equals if I say I don't have a shipping column, I just made that up. So let's pick that one. But assuming that you had a shipping column, I believe this will give you the answer. You might just need to adjust the column reference. So let me move to my next example. And this time, I want to use something a bit more sophisticated. And what I would like it to do is look up the price of Apple MacBook Pro. And I won't even use the term lookup. I will just use something generic, and it should be able to infer what I want done, as you can guess, if you use Excel. I'd like to look up value of the price of the Apple Pro. And it's actually smart enough to give both options. In my case, I want the VLOOKUP, but it also knows about XLOOKUP, and it will tell you about what is most appropriate based on the version of Excel. So let me copy paste this into Excel. And it says Yep. And it does not find it. Which is interesting. One of the things that will happen is sometimes this will not give you the exact answer, or it might actually hallucinate and tell you something that is not the case. Does anyone have an idea of how to debug this? Why we are not seeing the correct answer? If not, maybe you can leave that as a cautionary tale. It will not always give you the right answer. And we can try something else. So what I would like to do is see if you can get me the review for a particular order. And I'll give it another go. So how do I find the review? This actually gives several options. And for my case, I can try this, the X lookup. Let's see. And we want that, and the order number is that. Then we are going to use dot page. And that actually worked. Essentially looking for this order number using the XLOOKUP function. All right, any question? Sorry, I was not sharing my screen. I was not sharing the Excel screen. So yeah, here is the formula that I typed in, and it gave me that review for this order number. Any questions on that? All right, so we've seen two of the lookup functions so far. The next thing I want to do is a bit arbitrary, but it should give us something interesting. I want to know the number of days between the earliest and latest order. So let me see what the ChatGPT will come up with. So how do I and it actually was able to infer that I'm referring to the order date column, even if I didn't tell it that. And this will tell me to take the max of the order date and subtract it from the mean. Let's try that. number of days, the earliest and latest order, and that would work because it is going up to 100 and we are only at row 16. And I'm not sure why that doesn't show up. I guess we will have to put that particular example. And try something else. I think what I would like to do is try some of the Office 365 specific functions. And so the next thing I want to try and do is output a list of the products sorted by price. Let me ask ChatGPT to assist with that. Second. So how can I output? That right. So it's going to tell me how to do it. Okay, keeping the data intact is what I'm interested in. All right, so let's try that. Don't want 100, we just want 15. And there you have it. Even if you didn't know anything about the sort by function, ChatGPT does, and if you ask it for assistance, it will be able to tell you how to play that. So the next thing I want to do, still staying with the theme of Office 365, is I would like to filter products that have a review score of more than 5. And let me ask ChatGPT how to do that. So how can I? And for the sake of keeping the answer short, I want to put the data intact, original data intact. So I was thinking of the filter function. There is another one. We're using index and match, but we're going to stick with Excel 365 and just use the filter. And let me do that here. And we are filtering up to G16. And again, it gives us the answer that we are looking for. Feel free again to stop me anytime if you have a question or a comment. If not, I'll move on to my next example. And as you can see in the Excel sheet, these order numbers are consecutive. They have probably been, this is going to be typical of systems that export this kind of data. And so what I can ask it is how we could generate a sequence of these order numbers automatically. So let me ask it that. Okay, numbers, and the format is ON. So the format 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 4, etc. Okay, this is not quite what I wanted. Let me ask you if there's an array formula that can do it in one step. Okay, so it will give a exhaustive answer. And let me just try this, and let's see if we are able to generate what we are looking for. And indeed, as you can see, we do get the correct answer. One thing I will mention is ChatGPT will not give you a fixed answer for any given question. Every time you ask it a question, it will come up with a new response. So if there are other methods for doing the same thing, you might get a different answer when you are using it yourself. The next thing I would like to ask it, sticking with Office 365, is supposing we were generating random reviews. We were trying to generate some test data. And as you can see in the Excel sheet, there is a column with review scores. So let's see if we can randomize that. Let me switch back to ChatGPT. So how can I generate random scores? In that case, I think it's, yeah, it is 15. So it's suggesting that we drag this. I would like to see if there is an array formula that can do it in one step. Let me just copy the prompt from the previous request. All right, so there's a long answer for why it works. Let's just see if it actually produces the answer required. I'll switch back to Excel. And I can put that formula here. And as you can see, for this random rating as requested. Do you have any questions on that? And if you're following along and having any issues, you could let me know.
I had a question. Is there a
Go ahead. I think you've cut off.
work on a certain table?
Sorry, you were cut off for a few seconds. Could you repeat?
Oh, I'm saying, is there a way that you can upload a workbook
Onto this? What you could do is, well, with a paid version,
to ChatGPT?
I believe you can do that.
Yes.
It's unfortunate it's not working today. There is let me switch to my screen. For ChatGPT, the one I use, you can attach an image there. So you could take a screenshot of your table.
Okay.
And you could upload it, and it would be able. Maybe we can do that when I'm done with my last example.
Okay.
We can attempt that. I've not scripted that, but we can try that. So what I wanted to do for my last example was let me actually adjust this, and let me change this to the Excel sheet. And let's call this stripping cost. And let's have that go up to 15. So this is like a random shipping cost I've generated, and I want ChatGPT to give me a formula to calculate the price plus the shipping cost. So let me switch back to ChatGPT. Yeah. Calculate. Right. So that's an okay answer. There's a new feature called Lambda. If you're not familiar with that in Excel, sorry, let. In Excel, let me ask it to use that. Could you view the left answer. And it does actually know how to do that. And let me put that in Excel, and then we can try your suggestion. Total cost. Price is in D2. B is in D2. And there you go. So that is my last example, but we can try what was suggested, which is to see if this can analyze an image. So I need to take a screenshot of this. I can remember how. Let me take a screenshot. And I'm taking a screenshot, and I will save it to the desktop. All right. You couldn't see that, but let me click back to GPT, where I will start another chart and ask it to analyze the image. And this time, actually, let me try using Bing. So with Bing, the image is over here at the bottom left. So let me upload the image. And I believe I saved it as capture. Let me see where I saved that. Actually, it went to pictures. Yeah. PNG. So I have uploaded the image. It's a bit small. Let me increase the font of this so you can see that. So analyze this table. I've never done this before, so I'm not sure how long it takes, but we do have a few minutes. So let me see. Let me also ask the same question to it's coming with an answer. Yeah, so this is quite fascinating. I think you'll agree.
Interesting. I've never tried Bing, but it looks very, very interesting.
Yes, it is. So it will go on, and it will tell you all kinds of stuff. I think you could even ask it to generate formulas for these findings that it could probably tell you what to do. So that's it from me as far as the examples I had to share with you today. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. I think we have about 5 minutes or so.
My question is, since it looks like there's a lot of prompting, is there like basic rules for prompting for you to get a good answer?
Yes. For this kind of interaction, keep your question simple and direct. That's one. I think that's the main one. As you've seen in some of the prompts I've given, I've made spelling mistakes, which it has put it out nonetheless. I have sometimes not included all the context, but it has still been able to produce an answer. So I think my tip would be ask one thing at a time and keep it simple, and you should be able to get some good results with that approach.
Okay. I think that was my question. I don't know if there's anyone with a question. Joan?
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for all the people who stayed to the end. I believe that we've learned a lot. Personally, I've learned so much today. There are so many things, probably we've interacted with ChatGPT before, but there are some things that we keep learning every day. That's what I've, my summary of my take home. So thank you so much, Muigai, for taking us through this session today. And thank you for everyone. Thank you everyone for attending. We'll have another session in the next 2 weeks, the next Saturday, but we'll share the details beforehand. So we look forward to seeing everyone then.
All right. Thank you very much for the chance to present this.
Sawa, karibu sana. So unless there's any other question.
Before you go, Muigai, maybe a question, but on your career progress, as you see, there are some new people here, and there are some people who have progressed on their career. What advice would you give to, or how?
Well, good question. I would say you should. One of my big things is always looking to grow. And one of the most powerful ways to do that is what I've done today. When you learn something, share it with other people. By explaining it to other people, you'll actually start to understand even better than before. Yeah, that would be a very big tip I would give.
Okay. Mike, I'm making you a presenter. You can unmute yourself and ask a question. Your hands.
Thank you so much. You can hear me?
Yes.
Okay, just a quick one. I'm one of the persons fascinated by ChatGPT, and I've been trying a few things. But recently, our IT people told us not to use it.
ChatGPT.
Yes. Or any other AI tools.
Yeah.
They kind of sent us an email and said we exercise caution while using it. So I just wanted to know what are some of the risks that would make IT advice us not to use it. Yet I have seen it makes work easier. From your perspective.
Yes, that's an excellent question, and I should have mentioned some of those pitfalls. The two big ones are these. Number one, anything you put in here will be used to train this AI. So if you put personal information or secrets you're supposed to be keeping for your employer or whoever you're dealing with, that will not be a secret anymore. It will be part of the training data. And I know of at least one case, I believe Samsung engineers were doing some work, they put their things into ChatGPT, and that leaked to the public, and it wasn't. So that's one danger. The other danger is you cannot trust, like pretty much everything I've prompted you today has worked, but in general, you cannot trust the responses of these chatbots. They can often just hallucinate and give you a very convincing answer that is wrong. So if you do choose to use this for your work, you should be very keen to validate anything the model tells you. So those are two big things to bear in mind.